Wrapped in plastic. It's fantastic. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Yeah.
Popular culture is a mysterious beast that's hard to predict and even harder to understand. And just when you think it's going to go one way, it takes a left turn and suddenly something unexpected becomes a pop culture phenomenon. An example of this happened in the late 1990s. For those of you too young to know, this was an ad campaign for Budweiser, which saw a couple of goofy friends talking over the phone and saying, and for some reason, the commercial was a giant hit.
Hello?
Similar to this was Barbenheimer, an allyship that seemingly came out of nowhere, that somehow managed to turn two large movies made by two competing studios into an unofficial double feature, which caused attendance to spike at the box office and got people excited about coming to the movies again.
I'm going to see them both opening day.
However, one part of this duo took a lot of criticism about its content, saying that it was a feminist movie that hated men, which then caused people online to call those people dumb, and eventually all discourse on the matter transformed into this.
I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I?
So, with all of that going on, I decided not to watch the movie. Why? Well, I didn't want my opinion about the movie to be tainted by any outside influence. I wanted to see it for myself and make up my own conclusions about it. And I thought the best way to do that would be to wait till the movie was released on streaming. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Do you like movies with hand job jokes in them?
If I wasn't severely injured, I would beat you off right now.
Well, then I've got a movie made just for you. Grab some rollerblades and pack warm, folks, as we take a spoiler-heavy look at Barbie.
Nobody's gonna beat anyone off.
So Barbie starts like any great movie, by ripping off an even better movie. In a not-so-subtle reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey, we're told through narration that long ago, there was only one way that little girls could play with dolls. However, when Barbie came along, she changed all of that, and showed little girls that they didn't have to just be moms, but they could be anything they wanted to be, like a pilot, an astronaut, a reporter, or even a fat lawyer.
Hello.
We then get to meet Barbie, who is played by Margot Robbie, and who will make sure that little boys will never not want to see what Barbie looks like naked. As Barbie gets ready to start her day, she decides to take a drive around Barbieland, and it's here that we meet the rest of our characters at the beach.
Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
We also learn that there are just as many Kens in Barbieland as there are Barbies, and one Ken in particular has his sights set on our leading lady, and at first glance, it seems like they would be a perfect match. But there's just one problem. He's kinda stupid.
My balls.
And he's a Ken in Barbieland, which means that he's treated like a second-class citizen with no agency, no meaning, and no purpose without the attention of a Barbie. Gee, I hope this message isn't too subtle for you.
Now I get it.
Yep, everything in Barbieland is perfect. Nothing bad could ever happen here until Barbie gets flat feet. She's then told that the only way that she can be fixed is to speak with Weird Barbie, who lives in a house on top of a hill. So the next day she goes to visit Weird Barbie, and it turns out that she's, well, weird. Why? Well, it turns out that there's a link between Barbies in Barbieland and the young girls that play with them in the real world. So anything that happens in the real world will affect the Barbies in Barbieland. So, Barbie has to go to Los Angeles to find the girl who plays with her so that she can stop bad things from happening. And the next day, Barbie and Ken set off to the real world. But once they arrive, they're surprised to learn that Los Angeles is the exact opposite of Barbieland. And the audience is surprised that they were able to find a location in Los Angeles that wasn't covered with homeless people and human poop. After struggling to find this girl, Barbie decides that she needs time to think. So Ken decides to go for a walk to pass the time. And it's here that he encounters a montage of all the cool stuff that men enjoy, like working out, riding horses, sports, and Grease. For some reason, do men enjoy the musical Grease?
Gay.
But it is obvious that Ken is becoming a fan of how men act in the real world. We then take a quick trip to the corporate offices of Mattel, where we meet the CEO, played by Will Ferrell, who screams a lot and acts like a child. So, you know, he's just like every other Will Ferrell character. But while we're at Mattel, we also meet the CEO's secretary, Gloria, who is apparently the reason why all of this crazy stuff is happening to Barbie, and is stunned to learn that Barbie has entered the real world. After Barbie has some time to think, she's able to find the girl that plays with her, Sasha, and because strange adults are able to just walk onto school grounds, she's able to meet Sasha during her lunch break. But sadly, the meeting is cut short when Barbie learns that Sasha might be the worst person in the world, who bullies classmates, shames friends, and is essentially a walking Twitter post.
You fascist!
Not long after this, the suits at Mattel grab Barbie and try to put her in a box so she can no longer have an effect on the world. But luckily, she's able to escape with the help of Gloria and Sasha. And after Gloria introduces herself, Barbie discovers that it's actually Gloria who's been playing with her lately because she's having a hard time with the fact that Sasha is getting older. But let's be honest, we would all be depressed if we had a kid who acted like this.
You set the feminist movement back 50 years. You destroyed girls' innate sense of worth, and you are killing the planet with your glorification of rampant consumerism.
Okay, we get it. Calm down. Join Antifa or something, jeez. So, in an attempt to hide from Mattel, Barbie, Gloria, and Sasha go back to Barbieland. But when they arrive, they find things are drastically different. The Supreme Court are now cheerleaders. The president is now a waitress, and Mermaid Barbie is now played by John C. Why did all this happen? Well, it turns out that Ken has taken his love for the real world and introduced the patriarchy, finally making everyone equal by making Barbies as dumb as Kens are. So much so that in 2 days, the Kens will vote to repeal the Barbieland Constitution. And at this point in the movie, all seems lost. It seems like nothing can stop the Kens from totally taking over. But after a meeting at Weird Barbie's house, and after Gloria gives a speech, they all decide to work together to keep the Kens from succeeding, proving once and for all that nothing can stop the will of a man better than a woman's nagging.
Give me cancer now, God!
So the Barbies decide to stop the steal by distracting the Kens. How? Well, it turns out they plan on using seduction and manipulation in order to get the Kens to fight each other. So, you know, just like the real world.
Never trust a beautiful woman.
And this is where we get the best part of the movie. That's right, the best part of the Barbie movie revolves around a Ken musical number, which is either tragic or brilliantly ironic. Honestly, I'm not sure. Anyway, the Barbies eventually are able to save their way of life, and once again, the Kens are left to be second-class citizens. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, the movie teaches the audience a lesson.
Not your house, you're not your mink. Maybe all the things that you thought made you you aren't really you.
That's right, everyone. You are more than just your possessions or the things that you buy. Thanks, Barbie.
Barbie dolls, vehicles, and dream house, each sold separately.
So now, with everything back to normal, Barbie decides that she no longer wants to live in Barbieland. So, as Barbie heads off to her new life, and things start to change for the better in Barbieland, the movie we end up with is well made and has some things that should be praised in it. But overall, the story elements have some things that I can't forgive. But before I get into that, let me mention what I liked about the movie first. For one, I think the set design and the production of Barbieland is actually very fun and clever. The bright plastic and pastel colors really do make it feel like it's a life-sized Barbie playset. And all of the costuming that goes with every Barbie and Ken really helps sell that illusion. On the acting side of things, there are moments that I think Margot Robbie is doing some of her best work, especially when it comes to the more emotional elements of Barbie's self-realization.
You guys are the best. Thank you.
But by far, the best thing in the movie is Ryan Gosling as Ken.
Ken is me.
If you've ever seen The Nice Guys, then you already know that he has great comedic timing, and he just shows it off even more in this movie. And I wasn't kidding when I said that the Ken musical number was the best part of the movie, because it absolutely is. Even if you have no context for it and don't care about the movie at all, I would still say that you should watch that part on YouTube, because it's very entertaining. However, when it comes to the social messaging in the movie, there are a few things that I take issue with. Primarily that it tries to ignore any progress that's been made over the years. Like almost half of all married women out-earning their spouses. More women are graduating college than men. More women are becoming doctors than men. In fact, 10% of Fortune 500 CEOs are now women, which is higher than it's ever been before. Of course, this is not to say that every issue has been solved. It certainly hasn't. But just to ignore all of this, which I feel like the movie is doing, feels dishonest dishonest and reductive. But the biggest issue I have with the movie are its commentaries on capitalism and commercialism, which is mentioned by the insufferable character Sasha when she says this.
You represent everything wrong with our culture. Sexualized capitalism. You are killing the planet with your glorification of rampant consumerism.
The fact that this movie has the nerve to lecture anyone about capitalism or commercialism is laughable at best, especially when you consider that both of those things make up the very foundation of this movie. I mean, let's just break it down for a moment. Barbie is a movie made by Warner Brothers, which is a large subsidiary of the even larger Discovery Media, and in a partnership with Mattel, another massive corporation that exploits cheap Chinese labor to make its toys, agreed to show this movie in a movie theater that marks up its snack prices an average of 1,275%. And what makes this even worse is that the movie uses meta humor in order to create a shield of false self-deprecation in an effort to protect itself from the very judgments that it levies at the audience. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not an anti-capitalist, but I hate moral grandstanding, especially when the one doing it doesn't have a leg to stand on. And I can understand if you think this is a weird point to make about a movie that's targeted at kids, but it's something that I noticed and it really kind of bugged me. Finally, with all of that out of the way, let me say that I do think there is a positive message here, which comes at the very end of the movie. And despite my cynical nature and the jokes that I've previously made in the video, it does come right at the tail end of the movie. And that's Barbie realizing that she can't be Barbie anymore, and Ken realizing that what others think of him isn't what defines him. And while I'm not particularly smart, I think I understand this to mean that yes, through play, girls can imagine to be anything they want, but eventually they will have to face the world and do their best to make of it what they will. And for guys, it's okay if you don't like the things that guys are supposed to like, or you don't seek validation through the material things like so many people on social media tell you that you should. All that you should focus on is being the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And some people might say, wait, at the end of the movie, the Kens are still not treated equally. And while that is mostly true, they do start to take judicial seats in lower circuit courts. Is that perfect? No, but it is progress. And me ignoring the progress of Barbieland would be just as dishonest as ignoring the progress of the real world. So, in the end, would I recommend the movie? Yeah, I think I would. Despite all the stuff that I just said about the movie, I think there's enough good in it to justify a watch. And if you can get past my criticisms, or you just don't care about any of that, then you'd probably enjoy it even more. It's on Max and it's on Amazon Prime now, so if you do decide to check it out, that's where you can find it. Well, that's it for this one, folks. Have you seen Barbie? What did you think about it? Leave a comment below and let me know. As always, thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.